De paix sans justice, pourquoi on quitte la police? Alors on va demander à nos trois intervenantes ce soir pourquoi ils ont quitté. Mais on pensait qu'un bon point de départ pour la discussion ce soir, ce serait peut-être de donner un peu de contexte à l'audience ici, à savoir pourquoi vous avez décidé de vous joindre à la police, déjà pour commencer. Alors à tous les trois, peut-être, à la question de savoir dans quel contexte est-ce que vous avez décidé de rentrer dans les forces policières.
Bon, 1, 2. Ça marche. Ça marche? Oui? OK. Ben moi, en fait, je suis entré dans la police en 1966, à l'âge de 19 ans. Donc, pour un jeune de 19 ans, d'un quartier populaire, qui vient d'une famille pauvre et puis qui gagne un petit salaire, je dirais que la police, c'était une bonne job, hein? Parce que ça doublait pratiquement le salaire que je gagnais. Donc, je passais de 55 $ par semaine à 100 $ par semaine. Et évidemment, un autre aspect aussi, c'était la question du statut social. Parce que, quand même, il y avait comme une certaine forme de reconnaissance, finalement, de porter un uniforme dans la société. Et je dirais, en troisième lieu, je dirais que ça m'apparaissait être une job potentiellement d'utilité publique. Ça veut dire que je pouvais effectivement rendre service. Donc, grosso modo, c'est à peu près les principales raisons pour lesquelles je suis rentré dans la police en 1966, puis j'en suis sorti en 1975.
Hello, can you hear me? Hi, by the way. Thanks for coming out on this cold night. I guess, why did I join the police, going to training? I guess it was, I was 17, a stupid kid, I guess, and finished high school, and I had all my CJEP stuff in front of me, and I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? Because you're expected to know what you're going to go into at that point. And I saw police, and I said, police technology, maybe I'll do that. Because growing up, I used to live in Villamarge and LaSalle, and we used to play outside a lot as kids, and all my youth, and even when I was in elementary school, I always feared the police. They were always like a symbol of someone to be scared of, you know, and they'd always come and they'd be intimidating. And so I always feared and tried to stay away as much as I could. And then I said, wait a minute, maybe I'll do that and I'll be a good one, though. You know, I'm not going to be like the ones that I used to know as a youth, you know. And I guess that's it. I said, okay, I'm going to go into that. And I quickly found out that it wasn't for me, obviously, but we'll get into that later.
Merci. Moi, la raison pourquoi j'ai joint la police, premièrement, j'aimerais remercier les organisateurs, puis tout le monde être présent ici. Même les policiers en civil, bonjour. Je voudrais dire aussi, en tout cas, on va continuer. Donc, qu'est-ce que je voulais dire, c'est que pourquoi j'ai joint la police, c'est pas quelque chose que je voulais faire. Moi, j'ai joué au basketball à Dawson College, puis après ça, je m'en allais à l'Université Concordia pour poursuivre le basketball, mais surtout pour rentrer en cinématographie. Donc, c'était un but pour moi de devenir on pourrait dire documentariste ou un réalisateur pour la télévision et tout. Donc, mais c'était contingenté à Concordia, donc je suis rentré en philosophie parce que y avait quand même un lien et j'aimais la philosophie, qui a rien à voir avec la police, bien sûr. Puis j'ai un de mes amis qui m'a demandé, il dit, pourquoi tu vas pas faire l'examen de la police, blablabla, de la GRC, je sais qu'ils engagent du monde, puis je sais que c'est dur de trouver de l'argent de ce temps-ci. Donc, c'était plus une question de job monétaire, je pourrais dire. Puis je suis allé passer l'examen, puis c'est comme ça que j'ai joint la GRC. C'est pas quelque chose, c'était pas un rêve d'enfance, c'est pas quelque chose pour lequel je voulais poursuivre jusqu'à la fin de mes jours, mais c'était une expérience comme travailler n'importe où ailleurs pour moi. Donc voilà.
I'm actually going to ask the next question just for Gaby. I mean, I mentioned it before that after you finished your training, you ended up not going on to work in the police, but instead actually ended up writing this book, When Police Kill, Police Use of Force in Montreal and Toronto. And in there's a quote that I thought was quite telling that I'm just going to read out. Basically, you said, I came to the realization that it could be impossible for me to be any different from the police officers whom I had encountered as an adolescent. There could only be two possible outcomes. Either I would eventually be fired from the force because of my inability to follow the rules and regulations, or I would be assimilated into the policing culture and become one of them. It was the thought of becoming one of them which caused me to abandon policing. So I guess my question is, why did you ultimately decide to leave, and why was the threat of becoming one of them so significant?
Okay, well, like I said, going into it, I was really a half-assed, for lack of better words, decision. It wasn't like I was like, okay, I'm going to try this. So going into it, I didn't really think much about it, what to expect. And right from the beginning at John Abbott College, and going into the classes, I was like, I can't relate to this. Like just the way that courses were taught. It's very crime-fighting model. This was like in 1985, by the way. Long time ago. I don't know if it's changed, but I doubt it's so much different. Probably more window dressing on race relations and stuff, but I don't even know. And I went into it, and right away I was like, what is this? Like, there was no sense of understanding human circumstance, poverty, any of that. It was more like, find criminals, go get them, and everything you learned was in steps and phases. The 10 steps for this, the 3 steps for that, the 4 phases of this, it was very, and in the end, I mean, you had to be a real moron to fail. It was very simple and very simplistic. And just the whole attitude of the professors, and you could see that some of the people were like me that went into it didn't know, and there were other ones who really wanted to get into it and find those, like, the whole atmosphere and the whole way they taught the academia was very contrary to what I thought. And as you kept going along and going on, you saw how everybody's attitude started to change, and for like more cowboy attitudes, and And I knew by that point, like probably after 2 years, the program's 2.5 years, that I wasn't going to do it anymore. But I kept going because I figured I'll be a participant observer at Nicolette and just see what the end of it's like. And it was even worse. Like when you got to the academy, it was even more pronounced, where, it was like this crime-fighting thing, and everybody walked around with their uniforms, and, because some of them were already hired, and, it was just, the military lifestyle was not for me at all. I had the most negative sanctions there, like one more, and they would have kicked me out, for not shining my visor and my boots, and, crazy things like that, which I don't get, but that has to do with policing, really. I guess it's that robotic follow orders thing, And that's what I mean by, and I realized that this is not for me at all. And I'm not going to be able to do this because I'm not going to do what I thought I could do, Do you know what I mean? Like I think you end up getting immersed and you become part of the culture. Like, I don't believe this, oh, he's just a bad apple and everybody else is, like, I just think that after a while, either you have to leave because you get fired because you're not doing what you're supposed to, or you're not, or you immerse yourself and you just go with it, And that thought really scared me, because I was like, I don't think I could, I'm afraid of becoming that, And that wasn't my original intention. And some people do disagree, but I do believe that you're part of the machine once you're there, and it's kind of hard to do your own thing. And that's manifested in many ways. When killings happen, you don't see them standing up and going, I don't agree with that guy. They're all defending that guy. Do you know what I mean? Because even if they go home and don't agree with it, the face is that we all stick together, and regardless of what happened, we're going to defend, And so that's why that thought really scared me, and I said, I can't do this. And didn't bother going into the police.